Soccer fans, welcome back for this edition of Studs Up World Cup edition here on LatinPost.com. I'm David Salazar. Here's my colleague Edwin Molina. On this episode, we're going to talk about red card, yellow card, and golden ball. And just to get things started off here with my red card, I'm going to give it to Carlos Velasco Carballo, who did the worst refereeing job we've seen this World Cup. 54 fouls, 4 yellow cards. There was a bunch of red cards, especially on Julio Cesar for that foul on Carlos Baca. He takes away Colombia's goal, calls it offside 4 seconds after it had been touched by a Brazilian player, which would change the play and would essentially nullify any player that was offside at that point. I don't really like the way that the game was reffed. It was brutal, it was disgusting, it was nasty. I know what you're going to say, and we'll get to that in a second, but I mean, when you're letting the Brazilians run around like that, hitting the Colombians like that, and then the Colombians obviously respond by saying, you know what, you're going to hit us, well, we're going to start diving, and you just let that stuff go on and on and on and on for 90 minutes, and you only put out yellow cards, 2 for dissent, 1 which should have been a red card, and 1 for goalie interference. None of them for actually horrifying fouls that we saw throughout the game. I found it horrifying. I'm very angry about it.
My red card goes to Suninha, but however, it's for obvious reasons. I mean, he broke the bat, to put it in comic book terms. He broke Neymar.
Yeah.
And look, here's the thing. Here's the thing. It was a horribly officiated game, and it should have never gotten to that point had there been cards given out earlier. The referee lost control of the game. That's pretty obvious, and it doesn't escalate to that point. It's like, you do anything I can do, you can do better, or in this case,
I don't
worse.
think it was that bad of a foul. The ball was in the air. Yes, maybe he did go a little bit for contact. I don't think he tried to break his back.
Absolutely.
And then second of all, you live by the sword, you die by the sword. And Brazil fouled James Rodriguez 6 times throughout the game. They had Fernandinho on the pitch specifically for that purpose. And I find it dramatic irony that they end up losing their best player in that game on their strategy.
But it goes down again to the referee losing control. Had he been handing out cards earlier, you know what I'm saying?
Well, had he handed out cards and then the first 15 minutes when they were already hacking him,
everything settles down. But
right.
But anyway, it's gonna get heated. Let's move on.
Yellow card. Go ahead.
Yellow card. Yellow card. I go with the Costa Rican defense. They let Navas down a lot. Navas, much like the other CONCACAF keepers, had to stand on his head to keep his team competitive. I mean, I understand they played an excellent, counterattack trap, but there were times where Schneider and RVP were getting clean looks, and if it wasn't for Navas, it could have easily been a 5-0 shellacking.
Or the post.
Or the post.
I give my yellow card to France. They didn't even look like they realized they had to win this game after they went down 1-0. It was the most uninterested effort I'd seen from a team on the verge of elimination. It was quite a boring game. In fact, I think the quarterfinals in general, with the exception of the last half an hour of the Holland-Costa Rica game, were not particularly enjoyable to watch. The Argentina-Belgium game, the France-Germany were boring, bore-fest. The Colombia game was dirty, and then the Netherlands was a bore-fest until the last 30 minutes. So it wasn't particularly exciting. That's where my yellow card goes. Who's your golden ball?
My golden ball goes to Cole.
You stole that one from me.
Jesus, man, I've never seen anything like that before. I don't know if you have in the past.
No, it's actually the first time, and I have to give this golden ball the same thing. Louis van Gaal for his ballsy move. I mean, the guy's just been making he's just been picking up interesting tactics one after another. People are always questioning, why go 5-3-2 against Spain and give them all the midfield? Why take out Robin van Persie against Mexico when you need a goal and put his nemesis, Klaas-Jan Huntelaar? And now, why do you put Tim Krul cold right at the end of the game when potentially Costa Rica could still score? Ballsy moves. I mean, the guy's just brilliant, and I hope that we see another interesting tactic on suffocating Messi, because I would love to see the Dutch win their first title, lead the only remaining team in the tournament that has never won the World Cup.
To you Game of Thrones geeks, it was like bringing in the mountain to handle the job. you Game of Thrones fans know what I'm talking about, and that's what it seemed like. It's like you have this guy come in, and you're like, this could be the biggest mistake in World Cup history, and it ended up paying off. So props to Van Gaal on this one.
Yeah. Thank you guys for joining us on this episode of Studs Up World Cup Edition. Please follow us on LatinPost.com or on Facebook or on Twitter at LatinPostSports. I'm David Salazar. This is my colleague Edwin Molina. Enjoy the rest of the games, and we will see you after the semifinals.